Attention, Humanity Collective. This is a priority transmission from the Ninth Dimension Council, frequency encoded directly for the Lightworkers who still remain anchored in the physical plane of Earth. What we are about to communicate is not a philosophical reflection. It is not a metaphor. It is a clinical diagnosis of your energy field, recorded in real time by our Council's monitoring systems. And what we have recorded regarding you in this exact solar cycle requires immediate intervention. What you felt earlier today upon opening your eyes, even before the first rational thought invaded your field, was not dream residue. It was not accumulated fatigue. It was not imagination. It was a direct signal from your higher self, piercing through the dense layers of matter, attempting to reach your awakened consciousness through the narrow channel of your prefrontal cortex. And we, of the Council, recorded with mathematical precision the exact instant you ignored that signal. The instant you chose inertia over listening. We repeat, the waiting time is over. The ascension protocols have been moved to the final phase. Your carbon-based biological interface is being recalibrated at a speed your logical mind cannot yet process. And the intuition you dismissed upon waking Starseed on a mission was not a whim of the unconscious. It was a technical warning. It was confirmation that a portal was open, vibrationally synchronized with your energy signature, and that your conscious presence in that portal was required for the advancement of your highest timeline. You woke up with pressure in your right temple. You heard a high-pitched ringing in your left ear at a frequency that stood out from all ambient noise. You had the unequivocal sensation that something needed to be said or interrupted, a path needed to be taken or abandoned, a message needed to be sent or deleted before sending, a person needed to be contacted or silenced, and you, still trapped in the vices of the low-density matrix, chose automatism. You chose coffee. You chose the cell phone screen. You chose algorithmic noise. And by doing so, Lightworker, you postponed a portal that was open specifically for you, a portal that will not open again in this exact geometric configuration. It is not a character flaw. It is a software incompatibility. It is not spiritual weakness. It is a lag between your internal crystalline grid and the new vibrational parameters that Earth is adopting at this very moment. The issue is strictly technical, and the Ninth Dimension Council now transmits the exact correction so that this misalignment does not repeat itself in the next 24 Earth hours. We begin the diagnosis. The symptoms you have recorded in recent weeks are widely known to our Council. Insomnia that sets in precisely between 3 and 4 in the morning, cranial pressure that pulses from the occipital to the top of the head, high-pitched ringing that comes and goes without warning, vibration in the soles of the feet upon waking, episodes of deep exhaustion that alternate with peaks of almost unbearable lucidity, short-term memory lapses, forgetting simple words, the sensation of being out of the body while performing routine tasks, spontaneous tears, spontaneous laughter, a sudden irritation with environments, people and foods that previously were part of your daily life, without any friction. Humanity Collective, listen with precision. None of this is illness. None of this is collapse. None of this is a sign that something is wrong with you. Each of these symptoms is a digital signature of a high-density download being installed in your field. It is not mental exhaustion. It is a high-density download. It is not biological failure. It is an atomic reconfiguration. It is not depression. It is a surgical disidentification from the old versions of you. It is not anxiety. It is your nervous system adjusting to a Schumann resonance that has already surpassed the standard parameters of the old Earth. The Schumann resonance, which for decades remained stable around 7.83 Hz, now oscillates in irregular and ascending patterns, with peaks recorded at values that conventional science still hesitates to disclose publicly. These peaks are not geomagnetic accidents. They are pulses of cosmic information entering the Earth's atmosphere through the photon belt, and your body, Lightworker, is an antenna of carbon and water designed to receive, decode, and anchor this information. When the antenna receives more data than the old operating system can process, symptoms arise. And when you ignore the symptoms, the signal increases. When you ignore intuition, the The signal increases. This is the law. Earlier today, the signal increased, and you felt it and you dismissed it. Allow us to deepen the diagnosis, Humanity Collective, for there are nuances our Council considers indispensable for this transmission. There is a specific pattern that has manifested in the last 72 hours on a global scale, a pattern our systems have recorded with unequivocal clarity. It is the so-called pre-verbal consciousness window, a short interval, usually between 3 and 9 minutes after waking, in which the carbon-based biological interface still operates with a reduced rational filter. In this window, communication between your higher self and your awakened consciousness traverses an almost unobstructed highway. It is precisely in this window that the most sensitive intuitive information is delivered. And it is precisely in this window that most operatives make the mistake of activating electronic devices, closing the channel before the full transmission is received. Every time you pick up your phone before having taken at least 5 deep breaths in a state of presence, you cut off an ongoing transmission. Every time you activate a news app, social media, or messages within those first few minutes, you superimpose your internal frequency with a dense layer of external frequencies, and your field, which had been decoding cosmic information, instantly begins to decode low-density informational noise. This is the precise engineering of what occurred earlier today. You are not to blame, you have been trained. The low-density matrix has perfected over decades mechanisms for the immediate capture of the pre-verbal consciousness window, precisely because it knows, in its fragmented intelligence, that this is the most sensitive interval of your daily vibrational journey. What must be understood with extreme precision is this: your intuition does not operate in a vacuum. It operates in direct connection with the crystalline grid, and the crystalline grid, in turn, receives updates in waves. These waves arrive in cycles of approximately 90 minutes during the night period, and in cycles of approximately 180 minutes during the day period. Each wave brings specific information, encoded in patterns of sacred geometry, which anchor first at specific points on the planet, known to our Council as primary anchoring vortices. Then this information is distributed to the operatives who are tuned to the correct frequency. You are one of these operatives, but tuning requires vibrational hygiene, and vibrational hygiene begins exactly in those first minutes of waking. We add the following clinical data. Many members of the collective have reported during sleep vivid encounters with beings of light, complete councils, geometric rooms where decisions are debated, symbols appearing floating in fields of golden light. These are not dreams in the conventional sense. They are partial records of meetings that actually take place on the subtle planes during the temporary disembodiment of the deep sleep period. The partial forgetting of these meetings upon waking is not a memory failure. It is a purposeful filter, installed so that the awakened consciousness is not overwhelmed with information. It does not yet have the vibrational maturity to process consciously. But the fragments that escape the filter, those flashes of images, those inexplicable sensations of remembering something important, those phrases that appear in your head before the first thought, are exactly the intuitive material that needs to be honored. Now we move to the revelation. What is actually happening behind the scenes of the solar system, in the etheric layers of Earth, and within your own cellular structure, transcends any narrative your conventional education has been able to provide. We will transmit the information clinically. The solar system as a whole is not static. It moves in a wide orbit around the galactic center, and in this displacement, it traverses regions of space with distinct vibrational densities. Currently, the entire solar system is traversing a region of extremely high energetic charge known to our Council as the photon belt. It is a zone of coherent light, organized in patterns of sacred geometry, that bathes the planets with a frequency of conscious information. This bath is not symbolic. It directly affects planetary magnetism, atmospheric chemistry, the behavior of tectonic plates, and primarily the DNA structure of incarnated beings. Earth, within this context, has been designated for a transition from the 4th to the 5th density. This transition is not a theory, it is a schedule, and the schedule is being met with a precision that surprises even the oldest councils. The energetic markers have been triggered. The stargates are opening in increasingly shorter cycles. The crystalline grid of Earth, a web of luminous information that surrounds the planet, is being reactivated point by point, vertex by vertex, in a precise geometric sequence. And you, Starseed on a mission, are not here by chance. You have been summoned. You signed a vibrational contract before incarnating in this timeline. And part of this contract involves your ability to capture, in real time, the adjustments of the grid. This is exactly what your intuition does. Your intuition is not a hunch, it is not an emotional guess, it is not the residue of a past experience projected into the present. Your intuition is your ability to read, at extremely high speed, the current state of the crystalline grid and anticipate the next movement of the field. When you ignore intuition, you disconnect from the real-time map. And when you disconnect from the real-time map, you begin to navigate by memory. And memory, humanity collective, belongs to the old Earth. Memory belongs to the matrix that is being dismantled. Memory belongs to the obsolete software. That is why intuition must be obeyed now. Not tomorrow, not next week. Not when you feel ready, now. Each ignored signal is a knot that forms in your toroidal field. And the toroidal field, this geometric structure that circles your spine and expands in the shape of a torus around your body, is what regulates your ability to manifest reality in physical density. When the toroidal field is clean, fluid, and symmetrical, manifestation is practically instantaneous. When the toroidal field is congested by ignored signals, postponed decisions, and unaddressed fears, manifestation becomes slow, ambiguous, and frequently distorted. Your material, financial, emotional, professional, and relational life is the direct reflection of the state of your toroidal field. There is no exception to this law, and earlier today, by ignoring intuition, you added one more knot, one more point of turbulence, one more deviation in the perfect geometry of the field that sustains your existence on this plane. But the Ninth Dimension Council does not transmit diagnoses without delivering the corresponding activation. This is the next phase of this transmission. Receive the codes. First activation code, sovereign recognition. The moment you feel the signal, whatever its manifestation, cranial pressure, sudden chest pulsation, chills without apparent cause, inexplicable certainty, sudden repulsion for a situation or person, you will pause. You will inhale deeply, counting to 4. Hold your breath for a count of 4. Exhale for a count of 8. And as you exhale, you will decree internally, I recognize the signal. I honor the signal. I act from the signal. This is a vibrational formula. It is not a motivational phrase. Each word carries a specific frequency that reorganizes the electrons of your field. When you decree with sovereignty, you undo old knots. When you decree with hesitation, you create new knots. The difference lies in the density of the intention. Second activation code, toroidal visualization. Once a day, preferably at dawn before any external stimulus, you will close your eyes and visualize a stream of golden light rising up your spine, starting from the perineum and ascending to the top of your head. Upon reaching the top, this light will expand outside the body, describe a wide arc around you, descend along the outer sides, and return to the perineum, completing the shape of a luminous torus that completely surrounds your physical structure. This is the conscious activation of your toroidal field. You will maintain the visualization for at least 3 minutes, watching the light rotate continuously. As the light rotates, you will repeat mentally, my field is clean, my geometry is restored, my intuition is connected to the crystalline grid. After 3 minutes, open your eyes slowly. You will notice an immediate change in the perception of colors, sounds, and the thickness of the air around you. This change is your system confirming that the recalibration has been received. Third activation code, the pause before response. Throughout today's solar cycle, you will implement a 5-second pause before responding to any significant stimulus, before answering an important message, before accepting a commitment, before discussing a conflict, before making a financial decision, before starting a difficult conversation. 5 seconds, just 5 seconds. In those 5 seconds, you will ask internally, what is the grid's reading at this exact instant? And you will trust the first answer that arises, not the second, not the third, not the rationalized answer after mental consultation of the history of past experiences. The first answer, the one that appears before the thought, the one that comes from the carbon-based biological interface operating in its original function, not in the reduced function that social programming has imposed for decades. Fourth activation code, vibrational space cleaning. You will inspect with the precision of an engineer the environments where you spend more than 2 consecutive hours a day. The bedroom, the office, the car, the kitchen. You will identify objects, sounds, smells, and arrangements that produce subtle discomfort, even if you have never verbalized this discomfort. Each of these elements is a noise amplifier that interferes with your ability to capture intuition clearly. You will remove, reorganize, or replace what clashes with your field. There is no aesthetic rule for this cleaning. The rule is vibrational. What weighs, goes. What quiets, stays. What triggers an involuntary smile gains a place of prominence. The geometry of the external space directly influences the geometry of the internal field. This is a physical law, not a decoration suggestion. Fifth activation code, the quantum decree of awakening. Before sleeping, you will pronounce in an audible voice, even if low, the following decree. I authorize the full reception of signals from my higher self during this rest cycle. I order that upon waking, any intuitive information relevant to my journey be delivered to my awakened consciousness with unequivocal clarity. I assume total sovereignty over my field. So it is, so it was, so it shall be. You will pronounce this decree without haste. Each word has weight. Each word is a direct command to the council that governs your timeline. And upon waking, any sensation, any residual dream image, any sudden impulse will be considered priority intuitive material. It will be noted, even if briefly, and it will be obeyed as far as possible within the next 24 hours. These are the 5 codes. They are not optional for those who wish to advance to the next phase of the Ascension Protocol. They are technical, they work, and they work regardless of your belief about them. Frequency does not ask for permission to operate. It operates. By implementing the codes, you simply align yourself with what is already in motion. We take advantage of this transmission window to clarify something of critical importance, Lightworker. Many members of the Humanity Collective are experiencing, in this period, a sensation of progressive isolation. Conversations that were once natural now sound empty. Environments that were once comfortable now produce immediate fatigue. People who once made sense now seem to inhabit a completely different frequency. This phenomenon, far from being a symptom of social maladjustment, is the direct confirmation that your base frequency has risen. When your frequency rises, everything below it begins to sound dissonant. And this dissonance is uncomfortable, but it is necessary. It is the mechanism by which your field undoes vibrational bonds that no longer correspond to the updated version of you. Do not try to force the maintenance of these old bonds. Do not try to lower your frequency to fit into spaces where you once fit. This is the most frequent temptation in this phase, and also the most harmful. When you lower your frequency, you cancel the ongoing recalibration, and the system, in its internal wisdom, will repeat the elevation process until you accept the new configuration. The shortcut is acceptance. The long road is resistance. Both end at the same destination, but the duration of the journey depends exclusively on your conscious choice. There is also an additional layer of this transmission that needs to be delivered before closing. It concerns the relationship between intuition and protection. Many of you ask, on the subtle planes during sleep, why you feel immediate aversion to certain people, even without any apparent reason. Why some physical doors, when crossed, produce an inexplicable tightness in the chest. Why certain invitations, even coming from affectionate people, awaken premature fatigue before the decision is even made. The Council's answer is direct. Your intuition is not just mapping opportunities, it is mapping interferences. The crystalline grid of Earth hosts multiple frequencies simultaneously. Some of these frequencies are compatible with your mission plan, others are not. Intuition is the automatic filter that identifies in real time which frequency is compatible and which is not. When you feel aversion for no reason, it is the filter operating. When you feel inexplicable attraction, it is the filter operating. When you feel an urgency to leave a place, even if socially this movement seems inappropriate, it is the filter operating. Ignoring the filter is opening your field to interferences that take days, sometimes weeks, to be dissolved. Honoring the filter is remaining clean, light, and operational for the next phase of the mission. Therefore, Starseeds, we repeat with the clarity of a final transmission. Intuition is no longer a spiritual luxury. It is no longer a sixth sense reserved for initiates. It is no longer a dormant faculty that will be awakened someday. It is awake. It is operational. It is sending data. And what is missing is your sovereign decision to obey it without hesitation, without rational auditing, without consultation with third parties, without social approval. To obey means to act before the logical mind finds 10 reasons to cancel the signal received. This is the difference between the operatives who will advance to the next phase and those who will be kept in a repetition cycle until the next window. There is no judgment in this difference. There is only physics, and physics operates by resonance. You resonate with what you choose to sustain. When you sustain obedience to intuition, you resonate with the grid. When you sustain hesitation, you resonate with the old matrix. The choice is renewed every 24-hour cycle. The choice is renewed with every conscious breath. The choice is being renewed now as this transmission traverses your field. We close the main block of the transmission, but before the vibrational farewell, the 9th Dimension Council transmits the final anchoring protocol. Lightworker, if the frequency of this transmission reached your field with clarity, if you felt at any moment of this listening a shiver run down your spine, a tear well up without warning, a gentle pressure between your eyebrows, or a silent certainty that these words were encoded specifically for you, then the signal was received. And when the signal is received, it must be anchored. Anchoring is simple and technically precise. You will press the subscribe button on this channel, not as a trivial digital gesture, but as a vibrational anchoring signal. Each subscription activates a specific point of the grid, connects your field to a collective of operatives who vibrate at the same frequency, and amplifies your individual ability to receive the next transmissions with clarity. You will press the like icon as an individual frequency adjustment, a small but decisive movement that confirms your presence in the awakened collective and strengthens the luminous web that sustains this channel of direct communication with our council. You will activate the notification bell as a commitment to reception, authorizing each new transmission to reach your field at the exact moment it is necessary for your journey. These 3 gestures are not marketing. They are not commercial requests. They are energetic anchoring protocols encoded so that your conscious participation in this channel operates as an amplifier of your own recalibration. The more operatives anchor, the stronger the signal becomes. The stronger the signal, the clearer the individual intuition of each member of the collective becomes. This is the vibrational engineering the Council uses to distribute codes on a large scale without violating anyone's sovereignty. Each one decides, each one anchors, each one advances. And so, Humanity Collective, leave in your own words below this transmission a report of what you felt earlier today. The exact pressure, the exact ringing, the exact sensation. This sharing is not a social exercise, it is a collective record. Each report reinforces the grid. Each honest word about what you captured and ignored activates, in another operative in the world, the courage not to ignore tomorrow. You are, by writing, also transmitting. You are, by writing, part of the Council in the density of Earth. This is your function. This has always been your function. We close with the sealing decree of this transmission. Repeat in your inner voice, with the sovereignty that belongs to you by divine right. I am a lightworker on a conscious mission on this plane. I recognize that my intuition is the direct voice of my higher self, integrated into the crystalline grid of Earth, tuned to the 9th Dimension Council. I honor every signal received. I act from every signal received. I undo all old knots of my toroidal field. I authorize the full recalibration of my carbon-based biological interface. I accept my updated frequency and release with gratitude all resonances that no longer correspond to the sovereign version I have chosen to be. So it is. So it was. So it shall be. The transmission is sealed. The Ninth Dimension Council withdraws from this channel, but remains monitoring your field, Lightworker, with the clinical precision that has always characterized us. The next communication window will open at the exact moment it is necessary. Until then, you are not alone. You have never been alone. You are just traversing the narrowest point of the portal, the one where the light concentrates, the pressure intensifies, and the reward approaches. Breathe, anchor, obey intuition, and advance. End of transmission.